Today we've entered the phase 3 of the coronavirus situation, pandemic here in Mexico. And from what I understand, what that means is that the virus begins to spread rapidly amongst the population, and the number of cases being reported increases exponentially. Right now, Mexico is at about just over 6,000 cases, 6,200 some odd cases. I read earlier where if the government had done nothing at all, implemented no measures whatsoever, that the infection rate would be about 1% of the population of Mexico. And so that would be around more or less about 1 million people. But because of the different measures the governments have taken, both here in Mexico and all over the world, but here in Mexico, because of the measures that have been taken, the expected infection rate and number of cases will be at about 100,000, more or less, cases. So phase 3 is when that begins to take off. We're at 6,200 cases right now. And I read an article earlier that said where the president, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, said that he expects us to reach the highest peak of cases at the beginnings of May. So that's the situation where we're at right now, just entering phase 3 of the coronavirus situation in Mexico. Just yesterday, before phase 3 was officially announced, the government of Jalisco, the governor of Jalisco, Alfaro, issued new measures for the state of Jalisco. And basically those new measures it's pretty much all the same measures, except for one additional measure. And that one additional measure is that it's now mandatory to wear the cubrebocas, or the face masks, out in public. So if you're going out in public, on public transportation, if you're in any sort of public situation, at the supermarket, walking on the streets, even walking your dog, face mask is required. All the other measures are the same, but it's now mandatory that you stay in casa. It's now mandatory that you stay at home. The police are authorized to question people out on the streets, where they're going, what they're doing. They're breaking up larger groups of people. No more. The official report is that no more than groups of 50 are permitted, either public or private. But the measures have gotten a lot more serious. I was out at the grocery store actually yesterday, and I've seen a shift myself. It seems as though before people weren't doing the social distancing very well, but at the grocery store yesterday, there was a lot more social distancing involved, and everybody had the face masks on. So at least here in Jalisco, it's different state by state, but here in Jalisco, there's a mandatory stay-at-home order until the end of May, I believe. It's either May 17th or the end of May. There's some discrepancy there between the federal government and the state government. The only doubts I have is that I'm pretty sure it's going to be until the end of May. It seems to be the situation that's going on. It might be until May 17th, the official orders here in Jalisco, but I won't be surprised at all if that lasts until the end of May, beginnings of June. So that's why I'm here at home today making a video. I'm not out on the street. Anything except for walking your dog outside is pretty much not permitted for myself. If you're going to work for your essential business, that's permitted. If you're going to the doctor, the dentist, any sort of essential activities such as those are permitted. You can keep doing those, but anything else, you have to stay at home. And so that goes for making YouTube videos. And I at least wanted to give you an update on the phase 3 and the mandatory stay-at-home orders. So unfortunately I have to do it at home. I'd love to be out walking around making this video, but because it's not an essential activity, it's more of a recreational activity, that I have to stay at home and make these videos from here. So that's the update. I hope everyone is doing well. Please again consider donating, contributing to my Patreon page. 100% of the contributions on patreon.com, I'll put the link right below to that, will be given to those most affected by the coronavirus situation here in Mexico during the pandemic. So please contribute what you can, whether that be $5, $10, $20, $1, whatever the case may be. That will really go to helping people that are really having a hard time here in Mexico because of coronavirus, and that will continue to be having a hard time going forward because of the economic fallout due to the coronavirus pandemic. So I wanted to mention a couple of the unique things that are happening here in Mexico during the coronavirus situation. And one of those is that here in Guadalajara, the helicopters have been flying over. I've been hearing them right here in my house, and what they've been doing is they've been making announcements to the public to stay at home. I don't know if it's been happening anywhere else in Mexico. If I have any viewers from anywhere else in Mexico, I'd love to hear if that's happened in the cities that you're at, or possibly anywhere else in the world. Have they been making announcements like this from helicopters? Have the police been making announcements? What are some interesting and unique ways that approaches and tactics that the governments where you're at have been using to remind people to stay home? I'll go ahead and put that here so you can see a little bit of Okay, so one of the things I mentioned was that now out in the public areas, if you go out to the supermarkets or walking your dog on the streets, a cubrebocas, a little face mask, is required when you're out. And one of the interesting things that's happened here in Mexico is that you can actually get a cubrebocas with the image of your favorite drug lord right on the cover of that cubrebocas, El Chapo. I saw that his daughter, who has a company that has his imagery on a lot of different products. Obviously, the article didn't go into how much the company was tied to the drug trafficking industry, but they were handing out despensas, I don't know what, just little care packages, I guess, to residents with El Chapo's image on the side of the box. So take that as you will. I don't know, maybe it's a front for the drug trafficking organizations, maybe it's not, who knows. But it is interesting. I also did see that some of the other cartel organizations are handing out the care packages to poor residents. So it kind of happens with mafia-style organizations, I guess, that they're somewhat the only form of government in a lot of communities and some places here in Mexico and wherever these mafia-style organizations operate. So the Cartel Jalisco Nueva Generación, the New Generation Cartel, I've read has been handing out these face masks, and yeah, it's been interesting to see, and definitely one of the more unique things that I've seen here in Mexico. So thanks for watching, everybody. Remember to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. We've gotten a lot of new subscribers during this coronavirus pandemic, so thank you to all the new subscribers. Hit like, make a comment, and please, if you can, contribute at patreon.com. It really helps keep these videos sustainable, and especially during this time of the pandemic, it will 100% of the proceeds will go to those most affected by the economic fallout due to the pandemic. So please contribute if you can. I really appreciate it, and those that will be receiving the financial aid will appreciate it as well. Stay safe, everybody. See you guys next time. Adios.